Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a lap guide for the new lap time challenge taking place at Watkins Glen with the Chaparral 2J. To access this lap time challenge, go on over to sport mode, so make sure you have menu book number 9 completed so you can access this mode. Click on online time trials, which is towards the middle of the screen, and then you'll see this lap time challenge which is currently to the left. So this lap time challenge goes on until the end of November 12th, 2025, where we're in the Chaparral 2J. We're on racing soft tires, and your goal is to get within the 3% time range of the world record time when the event ends, as that is when your lap time gets counted, and hopefully you'll be able to get to 2 million credits. Now there's a couple things I need to talk about the 2J, because yeah, it's a weird car. First of all, this car only has 3 gears. You rev the absolute heck out of this car, and this car has 2 big old fans at the back. What this means is that you can take some of these turns at crazy speeds, and you'll see that in just a moment. So for example, for the S's that are just up ahead, or pretty much right here, you can take a flat out. You just need to get to turn in just right, and you'll have the downforce to be able to go through a flat out. Another thing is be careful with the bust up chicane. You don't want to be way too aggressive with these curves, because the car will jump, and that can really unsettle it to the point where you're not able to save it. But now let's go on over to the lap guide. Alright, so getting ready to start the new lap, you want to brake a bit for this final corner, and once you hit the apex, go ahead and fully accelerate your way out, and we'll go through this again as we end the lap. So stay towards the left side of the track, and you're going to brake before the 400 feet board. So you're going to use all of your braking power and make your way down to first gear. Don't forget, the Chaparral 2J only has 3 gears. So go down to first gear, turn in before you reach the final Gran Turismo 7 sign that is on the left, and you'll start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, so you're going to be doing a bit of trail braking. Now once you hit the apex, gradually start to get back on the throttle, but you're going to stay on first gear. If you shift up to second gear and try to accelerate, the car will bog down a bit, which will cost you time. So stay on first gear, gradually get back on the throttle, straighten up the car before you start to fully accelerate your way out, otherwise you're going to end up facing the wall. Now before the curb on the left ends, go ahead and start to turn in, and you're going to take this right turn flat out. Same with this left turn, it can be taken flat out, but you need to get your turn in just right. So you're going to turn in when the curb on the right ends, and you want to be careful with this, because if you turn in even just a little too late, you risk hitting the walls, and that will invalidate your lap time. Stick to the right for a moment, then bring yourself towards the left, and here comes the scary part. So look for the 500 feet board that is on the left, because you're going to brake right as you pass it. You're going to make your way down to second gear and use all of your braking power. Now you're going to look for the Marshall stand that is on the left, as you can use them as your turning point. Now start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, so doing a bit of trail braking, but be careful about hitting too much of the curb that is on the right, because if you take too much of it, the car will jump, and that's going to really unsettle this car to the point where you may lose control, and that's going to be GG's for you. And here I'm not being too aggressive, but the car still jumps, and that almost got the car unsettled. Like, it's just bouncing around everywhere. And then you just want to be really careful getting back on the throttle. Look for the start of the curb that is on the right, as that's going to be your next braking point, but you're just going to use around 50% of your braking power. And you'll see in a bit where I start to use a little bit of my throttle input to try to maintain the car's momentum, but I'm going to wait until before I pass the Marshall stand that is on the right, before I start to fully accelerate my way out. Now, one thing that you need to be careful of is this curb that is on the left, because if you grab too much of this curb on the left, the car will lose control. Now bring yourself towards the right. You're braking well before the 200 feet board, and for this turn, you're going to make your way down to first gear. So use all of your braking power, go down to first gear, turn in as you're getting closer to the 100 feet board that is on the right. Ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, and then you can start to get back on the throttle little by little. the car will rotate quite a bit. Don't forget, this car has 2 big old fans, so you have quite a bit of downforce to play around with. So you want to gradually ease back on the throttle, and the 2J will rotate around this turn, get the car straightened up, and then fully accelerate your way out. Bring yourself towards the left, brake before the 200 feet board, and for this turn you want to try to go for a later apex. So you can go a little bit wide into the entry of this hairpin, but then you want to bring yourself back in. That way you can get the car straightened up pretty quickly and then fully accelerate your way out. So by the time that you're starting to point away from these trees, that is where you want to start to ease back on the throttle and get the car straightened up as soon as you can so you can fully accelerate your way out. Now you're going to want to stay towards the left side of the track because you're going to brake a bit after the 300 feet board that is on the left. So this is going to be around the 250-260 feet range, and you're going to use all of your braking power and make your way down to first gear. You do have to be a little careful here because this is a pretty sharp hairpin. You're going to turn in as you're reaching the 100 feet board that is on the left, and make sure once again that you're down to first gear. Start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, so doing a bit of trail braking, and you want to be really careful getting back on the throttle as this is where the car can easily spin out. So just be nice and gradual getting back on the throttle. Bring yourself towards the right and brake right as you reach the 200 feet board. So this hairpin is also pretty sharp, so a bit similar to the hairpin that we just went through. You want to be really careful getting back on the throttle. So use the 100 feet board as your turning point, and you're going to start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in. Now you want to be a little careful getting back on the throttle because with the right amount of throttle input, you can get some good rotation coming out of the hairpin, and then you just want to straighten the car as soon as you can so you can fully accelerate your way out. Use the 200 feet board as your braking point, so you're going to brake at around 50%, a little more than 50% braking input, and start to turn in as you get close to the 100 feet board that is on the right. So you see right here, I'm going to go ahead and start turning in. And for this and the next turn, just make sure you brake a little early because it's really easy to overshoot these two final turns. So again, nice and easy getting back on the throttle, bring yourself towards the left, and finally brake a bit before the grass on the right starts. This is a turn where you want to brake a little early because it's really easy to overshoot this part and end up losing multiple tenths of a second. So use all of your braking power, use the sign on the left as your turning point, and start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in. And no need to go down to first gear, just stay on second gear, and as you hit the apex, go ahead and fully accelerate your way out and make your way to the start finish line. And with this, I was able to get a 128.916, and that's going to be it for this part of the guide. The non-commentary sections for the bumper and chase cams will start momentarily, and that's about it for me. So if you like this video, please do hit the like and the subscribe button. But that's it for me. Take care, everyone. Good luck in this time trial. This is Mr. Messier, and I'll see you in the next video.